morning, our scripture reading is Psalm 148, and it's taken from a book called Psalms for Praying by Nan Merrill, how she has sort of reimagined the Psalms. And we'll read it responsibly. It is in your bulletin. So I'll read the not bold, and he'll read the bold. Praise be the Blessed One. Give praise from the heavens and from all the ends of the earth. Give praise to all you angels, angels of earth and heaven. Give praise, sun and moon. Give praise, all you shining stars. Give praise, all universes, the whole cosmos of creation. Praise be the Blessed One, for through love all was created, and firmly fixed forever and ever. Yes, the pattern of creation was established. Give praise to the beloved of all the earth, all that swim in the deep, and all the winged ones of the air. Give praise, all mountains and hills, all trees and minerals. Give praise, all four-leggeds and all that creep on the ground. Leaders of the nations and all peoples, young and old, give praise. Unite together in all your diversity, that peace and harmony might flourish on earth. Let all people praise the Beloved, who is exalted in heaven and on earth, whose glory is above heaven and earth. For all are called to be friends, companions to the true friend, giving their lives joyfully as co-creators and people of peace. Praises be to the Blessed One, the very breath of our breath, the very heart of our heart. Thanks be to God. Well, we started out this season leading up to Christmas with the 4 Sundays of Advent, exploring and celebrating the story of the coming of Christ to live among us. Each week we spoke about and lit candles for hope, peace, joy, and love. All of this culminating in the mundane and somehow miraculous birth of a baby in a stable, Jesus of Nazareth. We have sung songs of love and yearning and joy. The psalm we just read together is one of great rejoicing. And in order to be true to the narrative, we must acknowledge another story that was also going on in the background. It is the story of King Herod, who heard about the possible coming of the Messiah, someone who could usurp his power, and he was very afraid. Underneath all the light, the songs, and the celebrations, a darkness was growing. This is the story from the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 2, verses 13 to 18. It is after the visit of the Magi. When they had gone, an angel of the Lord appeared to Joseph in a dream. "Get up," he said, "take the child and his mother and escape to Egypt. Stay there until I tell you, for Herod is going to search for the child to kill him." So he got up, took the child and his mother during the night, and left for Egypt, where they stayed until the death of Herod. And so was fulfilled what the Lord had said through the prophet, "Out of Egypt I called my son." When Herod realized that he had been outwitted by the Magi, he was furious, and he gave orders to kill all the boys in Bethlehem and its vicinity who were 2 years old and under, in accordance with the time he had learned from the Magi. Then what was said through the prophet Jeremiah was fulfilled. "A voice is heard in Ramah, weeping and great mourning, Rachel weeping for her children and refusing to be comforted because they are no more." Mary and Joseph and Jesus stayed in Egypt for 4 years until Joseph heard that Herod had died. They returned to Israel, to the town of Nazareth in Galilee. These two stories, that are actually one story, naturally bring up for us the difficulty of holding both celebration and sorrow. The celebration of the coming of the Messiah and the sorrow for all the children who were murdered by Herod's soldiers, while Jesus and his family fled as refugees to Egypt. How do we hold both of these narratives at the same time? Is it possible that we can attend to both the gift and the grief without one diminishing the other? And how would we do that? How can these stories from so long ago help us to deal with the reality of living in the world as we find it right now? At the core, there is very little difference between these stories and what we find going on in many places around the world at this time. Power and greed and suffering. How do we deal with that? I submit that one of the reasons many of us choose a religious path, one that gives hope and guidance on how to live despite these other realities. And yet, how does that actually help? How do we do that? How do we remember the absolute generosity of spirit so beautifully exemplified in the birth of Jesus? What helps us to remember the courage, the devotion, and the love displayed by Mary and Joseph as they followed their hearts to birth and then save their precious son? How do we hold these realities while acknowledging that there is great suffering in the world, both far away and in our own cities, and sometimes even in our own homes? One way, and certainly not the only way, might be to bring our attention into ourselves, into our own bodies, to feel our own breath. In and out. Breath is always there. In and out. Likewise, our hearts are always beating from before we are born until the very end. You can feel your own pulse if you take a moment and slow down and be quiet. Both of these movements demonstrate to us the pulse of life, coming in and going out, getting bigger, getting smaller, getting faster, getting slower, going up and coming down. You can't look anywhere in the natural world without seeing these pulsations in big and minuscule ways. The phases of the moon, the turning of the seasons, the hatching of eggs, the falling of leaves. In life, nothing is static. In fact, one of the signs of death, of course, is the complete absence of these signs of life. Things are always changing, birthing, living, then fading away, and they should be. That is the cycle of life. This may seem too simplistic in fact, but we can use this fact of life, if you will, to choose what we pay attention to. Am I fixated on this painful or scary event? Can I shift my attention to something else, even if it is just for a moment? Can something that breaks the trance of fear or anger just for a moment? Can I feel my breath in and out? Can I feel or see the wind in the trees blowing this way and then that way? Can I see or hear the waves breaking on the shore, back and forth, in and out, over and over and over for millennia? That's one of the ways I settle myself down, is going down to the water and just watch. This has been going on since before, when we were just amoeba. Can I remember there is another reality, one where I'm not alone in this state? Can I expand my awareness to remember there are other things at play here? In terms of neurobiology, this is called pendulation. In spiritual terms, we talk about consolation and desolation. Neither of them exists alone, they exist together. My attention is on one thing, then I shift it to something else, back and forth. It helps to break the trances of hopelessness, of fear, of anger, of hatred. It helps us to remember that there are other forces at work in our world and our lives. Love, compassion, growth, courage, and justice. In the midst of great difficulties, love is always there. I was reminded this morning about the day after my father died. We were living in Quebec, in a small town. My mother and I went to the neighboring town to pick out a casket for my father. And on the way back, we decided to stop at Chez Guy and have a hamburger. And we were in there, and a couple that we knew came in and said, "Oh, hello, how are you? And how's Carter?" And we said, "Oh, he died last night." They went, "Oh, he died last night, very sorry." And then off they went, and Mom and I looked at each other and said, "Are we allowed to go out for a hamburger after Dad just died?" It's like, yes you are. Yes, you are. You hold both the grief and you hold the togetherness and the hamburgers or whatever that might be. So how do we hold the miraculous and the horrible at the same time? By remembering that we are all living beings, part of the vast web of creation, one that has a heartbeat, that breathes, one where birth and death are happening at the same time. One where we believe we are brought into being by a loving Creator, a Creator who keeps on loving us no matter what we do or don't do, no matter what we think, who we love, who we vote for, or what we do or do not accomplish. In the words of Psalm 139, "For you created my inmost being, you knit me together in my mother's womb. I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful. We are wonderful. You are wonderful." Let us give thanks for this most generous Creator who will not leave us alone, and for this community of faith where we help each other remember that we are beloved when even we forget. We come to church to be together on this journey. We come here to be fed by the Spirit, and then we go out into the rest of our lives, coming